Welcome back to the channel, guys. Last episode, this little Morris Minor put up a little bit of a fight towards the end, but did we get it started? Now, you would have seen towards the end of the video, I managed to find the crank handle, but I'm old, I'm lazy, I'm never going to continually start in the car with the crank handle, so we've got to try and get this starter motor sorted. I'm going to pull this battery out, put this back on charge because we drained it last time. If you want to know why this thing is so big, it has come out of a Toyota trip carrier, so this is running about 700 plus CCA. More than enough for this little side valve, but it's the only one I had available. Oh, you're a big bastard. Just hearing a little bit of a noise outside the shed. What do you think you're doing? Production crews, what are you going to do with them? That's enough clucking around. Let's get the starter motor out. Got something to say for yourself? This is twice now. And considering its age, it actually wasn't too bad to strip. All those nuts and bolts just loosened up and made my life a lot easier. That's a little bit worn. But then when we have a look at the brushes, unfortunately everything in the starter motor looked a little bit average, but nothing a good cleanup couldn't fix. The camera's not picking that up quite well. Those brushes are all looking a little bit worn too. Okay, so everything there is quite worn. So what we're going to do is, I don't have another set of brushes. So just give them a good clean, give them a little bit of a lube up, try and free them up a little bit, because I dare say that's probably what's happening. They've just bound up on each other, and reassemble and pray to the moto gods. Tell you what, I love this parts cleaner. Look at the grime that it's getting off after 70 odd years. Now this is one thing I don't recommend you do, but unfortunately none of us were born with 4 arms and there's really no other easy way to do it. Wrapping zip ties around each one of the brushes so that it holds them in place as you slide it back in does make it a little bit easier. Be careful not to trim the wires when you put it back in. Luckily the reassembly back into the motor went a lot smoother than coming out. Now I know there's going to be a couple of people there that are going to be spewing at what they just saw about how that starter motor got stripped and cleaned, but it's all freed up. Is it the right way to do things? No. Is it a way to do things? Yes. Don't do as I say, don't do as I do.
1,000 eyes are falling, and I was waiting for, and I was waiting for these stars, and I was breaking down, and I was moving fast, and I was moving for the past.
This big guy here is still on charge. While that's happening, I've got to do a run to the post office. Now this is the reason why. Big thank you to Peter down in Victoria. The guy is a legend. Literally lives 1,000 kilometers away from me, but he watched one of the videos and he saw that I was missing a part. Sent me a message and said, hey look, I've got a spare one if you want it. Let's work out a deal, and he posted it up. So mate, Thank you very much. This will complete everything and just make it look. And that little part that Peter sent out, it's probably just a little thing that's going to tidy this engine bay up and make it look original. Yeet. Sometimes it's just the little touches that bring it home. Okay, so bolted the oil bath back on. Main reason being, throttle assembly connects directly to the oil bath. What do I mean by that? There's a return spring that comes off the throttle assembly that connects to the intake, which, I don't know where you guys can see if it's going to be that little nib just there. That's what the spring reconnects to, and that's what provides an anchor point for the return of your throttle. So now we're just going to go through, get everything re-tensioned up, throttle cable, choke cable, and we're one step closer. Alright, so putting in the choke cable, just going to feed a little bit of the sheath into the clamp. And the rest of the cable through the choke armature itself. Yeah, I just like to make sure that cable is pulled all the way through, that armature is bottomed all the way out, just so that you don't get any slack in the line, any slack on the choke, because if the choke binds up, it's going to start running ridge. Here's something I found quite interesting. Resetting the throttle cable up, reattaching the throttle return spring, and don't know how well you guys can see that. That spring anchors into the side of the intake. However, this spring is going to be slightly too big, because I shouldn't be able to get that out that easily. Why is that an issue? Because up here, this is your throttle adjustment assembly. That's how much play you have. So what happens, as that maxes out to where it should, it's going to start to rev, and it's going to start to run a little bit rough. I don't know. Do we try and find another spring? Because that would be the better option. Because I really don't want to touch those just yet unless I absolutely have to. I think we'll try and figure out something to do with this first. I've got it. I've cracked it. So that throttle return spring, I was having a bit more of a deeper look into it. I don't know where you're going to see this, but at the bottom of the intake manifold, you've got these two little lugs. These little lugs, one of them has a split pin. For no apparent reason whatsoever, it doesn't hold anything there. Where that split pin is the exact length needed for that spring. So at some point, someone's replaced the spring and thought, ooh, that's not going to work. If you pull that out, pull it down, that locks in perfect. Takes all the play out of it. That spring's a little bit longer, and you can still get full throttle. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know why someone's decided to do that, but hey, it works. It works. We're going to run with it. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to turn the key on. So we've disconnected the battery. So what will happen once we actually connect the battery back up, that fuel pump's going to start priming, but it won't actually start the car, so we can start pumping through any of the old fuel. Alright, I'm going to disconnect fuel line leading onto the bottom of the pump. Just going to hang that off on the top of the trunnion. What we should have, because the ignition's been turned on inside the car, once we connect the battery up, fuel pump should start priming. There we go. Starting to get some fuel coming through. I don't know know about you, but if that came out of me, it's definitely a sign to drink more water. I don't think there's anything else we can do. Fingers crossed. I think we turn the key. Alright. Windows down. Let's have a look. Choke. Did we? Nope. And right there, no red light on the dash. So something's possibly gone wrong somewhere else. Oh, I know what we didn't do. Idiot. We've all done it. Alright, let's give this a try. Choke. Keep. So we've got half a tank of fuel. No pressure yet. Come on. Got fuel. Come on. Still nothing. Why? 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 Okay, we just had to get some fuel into it. Alright, let's try it again. Choke. Yes! Yes! Woo! Oh boy! Alright. Well, he's not overly happy, but he's getting some fresh fuel in there. I got half a tank sitting on the dash. Oil pressure's sitting, oil pressure's climbing. Button that choke off a bit. That actually sounds good. That actually sounds half decent. And you can just hear a little tick every now and then. The fuel pump's working its way through. Well, see what works. Traffic? Oh. Alright, so trafficators are next. You can see they're flashing, but they're not actually working. Look at this side. Alright, that side's the same, so we're going to get onto those. Horn? Nope. Alright. That's next as well. Clear it out. That actually runs really well. Considering this is the first time it started in 24 years. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. Okay. So the clutch is engaging. First, second, third, fourth. That gearbox is actually really good. That's pretty smooth. Shit, I could drive this thing now. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. Alright, I'm going to close the bonnet. And we'll keep it running just so it warms up. Get out of the way of that. I'll close the bonnet, so I'm going to try and drive this in, but we'll just keep it running, let it warm up. How do my brakes look? Yeah, those brakes are average at best. You know what? Stuff it, let's try it. This was the very first video of the car that I ever took. This was the day that I saw it for the first time and automatically fell in love. I think I fell in love with it just as much as Daniel did back in the early days. But I bet he didn't know the plans that was in store for this little guy. Pulling it out of its resting place, putting it back on the road, and being used again and again and again. For many future trips to come. Thanks, Daniel. Alright, here we go, first drive. The first gear. No brakes. No brakes. Top turn, past the tree. Past the garbage bins. There you go! That's awesome! Tell you what, you don't get much better than that. So look, the series isn't over. Even though the little guys are up and running and driving, we still have a lot more to do. Game plan at this point is either try and get it down to All British Day in September here in the Hawkesbury, or get it down to the 2027 rally down in Benalla, Victoria. If I do that, I'm going to be driving this guy the whole way. So look, sorry, I'm just trying to catch my breath. This is amazing. First time it's driven in 24 years under its own steam. Look, if you like what you've seen so far, we've got a lot more to go. This thing still has to get ready to go on the road. We've got to go through the lights, got to put fresh carpet in it, give it a full service, a big once over, because if I'm going to Victoria next year, I'm going to need all the help I can get. Until then, like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you know when the next video comes up, and I'll see you on the next episode.